some bozos are intent on doing more harm than good. You loved part 1, so I'm back with another roundup of butthead scammers, creepers, and awful live streamers. Get ready to clench your fist and curse under your breath as we look at even more of the worst people embarrassingly exposed. Dox the Halls. I love the festive season, but the town of Ennis in County Clare, Ireland has a unique way of drumming up Christmas cheer. They hold an annual Christmas tree throwing competition where townsfolk come together to flex their strength. Back in 2018, the surprise champion was Camilla Grabska. I say surprise because Camilla was involved in a car crash in 2017 which she said left her with debilitating injuries to her neck and back. Camilla claimed she couldn't work, carry groceries, or even play with her kids. Then in 2022, she submitted a claim for a disability payout of around $800,000, mostly in lost wages due to the injury she sustained. How devastating. So the lawyers handling her case were surprised to see photographic evidence of her picking up an entire tree and sending that thing out like She-Hulk. Even the judge commented on how agile she moved handling a very large natural Christmas tree. Camilla argued that although she appears to be smiling, she's actually in a great deal of pain and just trying to live a normal life. However, an hour-long video of her training her dog in a local park was more proof than necessary that her claims were entirely exaggerated. The judge denied her any payout and dismissed the case. Imagine explaining that resume gap in your next job interview. Yikes. Rossi Bop. Every so often, Papa Be Amazed gotta cook. So, lock in. In December 2021, a 36-year-old man who went by Arthur Knight was admitted to Glasgow's Queen Elizabeth University Hospital suffering from severe COVID symptoms. So far, so 2021, right? Except one of the nurses on the ward noticed something fishy. The patient had the same distinctive tattoos as internationally wanted American fugitive Nicholas Rossi, who committed a string of horrible crimes, including harassment and alleged kidnapping, in Rhode Island dating back to 2007. But it couldn't have been Rossi. In December 2019, he'd told the media he had late-stage cancer and only had weeks to live. Sure enough, multiple news outlets had reported his passing in early 2020. Weird. Is this a case of mistaken identity? No, it's him. It turns out Rossi had faked his own death and fled to Scotland under a new identity. Arthur Knight, a poor Irish orphan, is one of 16 aliases Rossi has used throughout the years. But the tattoos, a fingerprint match, and even Rossi's adopted father confirm that it's him. Furthermore, the FBI tracked Rossi's movements from Rhode Island to Glasgow by searching his cell phone records. So, case closed? Wrong. While any half-brained organism would give up the gig, Rossi doubled down on a media campaign protesting his innocence. Rossi alleged the tattoos mysteriously appeared on his body after an 18-day coma in the COVID ward and blamed the hospital for framing him. And while it's true that Rossi did go into a coma, it's outright absurd to suggest overworked, underpaid nurses had the wherewithal to ink him up while he was in it. He also claims the fingerprint evidence, which was in a sealed arrest warrant, had been tampered with. Yeah. If you thought these baseless excuses were bad, Rossi's commitment to the bit is unyielding. Despite claiming he couldn't use his legs, he was fined for aggressively jumping from his bed and charging at the nurses who were trying to discharge him from the hospital. Additionally, the oxygen mask he insists on wearing often isn't plugged in or being worn correctly. To be clear, I'm not poking fun at anyone who requires mobility or breathing apparatus. It's just that Rossi doesn't. He's demonstrated how weak he is by standing up then flopping dramatically into the arms of his anticipating wife. On more than one occasion. The chair, the mask, the out-of-place RP accent on an Irishman.
We were once a normal family, but thanks to the media, our lives have been interrupted. And we'd like privacy, and I would like to go back to being a normal husband.
Their props in his sick Brit cosplay. I'd call it Oscar-worthy if it wasn't so unintentionally funny. Obviously, Rossi lost his extradition hearing and was returned to the USA to sit in jail and face his charges. But not without one last comical display. He tussled on the runway with the airport personnel in charge of putting him on the plane and fought with such guile his pants fell around his ankles. The last the UK saw of Rossi was his tighty-whitey clad ass being lifted onto the plane. If secondhand embarrassment was fatal, I'd never make another video. Yeah, it's hilarious, but some very real women suffered at his gross little hands. Rossi's deceitful roleplay proves he's remorseless toward the sickening things he's done and would rather take this lie to the grave than face the consequences of his actions. What a goon. Real estate of affairs. Let's face it, COVID was tough. But Miami real estate broker Daniela Rendon thought she'd found an easy way to come out on top. She illegally tweaked documents for her real estate business so she'd be legible for a big payout via the Small Business Administration and Paycheck Protection Program. If you're thinking, wait a minute, that sounds like fraud. Correct, it is. By inflating revenue, payroll, costs of products, IRS tax information, and even her number of employees, she swindled a whopping $381,000 of taxpayers' money set aside to keep businesses afloat during unprecedented times. Hold on, maybe Daniela used the money for good? Well, that depends on your definition of good. If good to you is a leased Bentley Bentayga, a luxury apartment, and a Brazilian butt lift, then yes, Daniela did a lot of good. Meow. Wait, she stole taxpayers' money to get a big old booty? This lady sucks. Yep, and the criminal justice system agreed. Daniela was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. What she did was wrong, but Daniela argued she only did it because everyone else was doing it, which is no excuse. But it's kinda also true. That same year, a Florida pastor and his family swindled over $8 million through the same scheme and used it to buy luxury property in Disney World. Yuck. I don't know what's worse, stealing $8 million or being a Disney adult. Want to know what's worse than either of those things? Some people still haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel. Ugh. Better get to it, or you might end up in part 3. Cry over spilled milk. Your younger years are some of the best of your life, so live a little. Just don't be a complete douche. 16-year-old Australian TikToker Giddy No Kitty clearly didn't get the memo. He pranked a passing boat by dumping milk on it from an overhead bridge. Wow, so hilarious. Sure enough, the girls on the boat didn't find it funny either, and neither did the massive online audience the video reached. Vigilante justice warriors sent the video to Melbourne Grammar, Giddy's $20,000 a year in fees private school. So Giddy removed the video to avoid backlash, but it was too late. He was suspended and given a warning from Victoria Police. Hey, he's a kid. We've all done dumb stuff out of ignorance. Just say sorry and move on. But Giddy wasn't remorseful in the slightest. He made posts begging people to stop getting him into trouble, saying he couldn't believe people would do this to a minor. You're not the victim, kid. These women who had their birthday party ruined by your actions are. Look, I'm not gonna bash a kid, but his behavior stinks worse than a pleasure cruise covered in sour milk. If he'd apologized instead of acting entitled waving around the victim card, everyone would have been way more forgiving. Trashy Traveler. In the last video, I didn't hold back against online pranksters, but I found something that annoys me even more. This is IRL streamer Johnny Somali. He's been in hot water lately for antagonizing innocent bystanders on his travel stream. Yep, Somali went on a months-long harassment campaign in Japan, filming himself trespassing on a construction site, shouting about dropping atomic bombs on a busy public train, and pestering local women. Yeah, he sucks. But his actions haven't been without consequence. After a Japanese man saw Johnny intimidating a young woman, he gave him a piece of his mind and a bigger piece of his fist. And that's not all. Somali's Japanese dream swiftly ended after he faced criminal charges for playing loud music in a busy restaurant and was fined $1,400. After a brief apology stating he'd never film again, which I wish was true, he moved to Tel Aviv, Israel, and guess what? Continued acting out. He was permanently banned from the streaming platform Kick for inciting hate speech. So he switched over to the Anything Goes hellhole Rumble and got arrested on stream for catcalling a female IDF officer. A male colleague of hers stepped in and dealt with Somali before carrying him away like the giant baby he is. As he was whisked away, Somali screamed profanities, insisting he was American like it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. We don't claim him. The IDF can do whatever they want with him. See, no one who watches Somali actually cares about him. They just want to see him in outrageous situations. So he's forever trying to one-up himself by being even more controversial, and it's kind of pathetic. Especially when you think about the innocent people being scorned as he scorches this path of destruction. As of now, Somali's unfortunately out of jail, but sadly I bet it won't be long before he does something that'll land him a lot more than just a fine. Lawless lands. Hold your horses, Sheriff Barty here. What are you going on about with that there sharpened cart? Take it back now. Good. There are some vigilantes around these parts punishing those who don't. Looky here.
Car knocks. That's a curbing, sir. Curbing. We got curbing going on here. Sir, this is curbing. Sir. Wow, didn't even respond. Time for the pit maneuver. Sir. You curbed your cart. You didn't take it back to the cart corral where it belongs. Whoa!
Dude, leave me alone. They just me over there.
What'd they do? Are you okay? That's the second curbing, by the way.
No, I'm not okay.
Damn, homie slayed. These pseudo-police go under the name cart narcs, and this wobbly fella is one of their nicer encounters. Sometimes confronting lazy folk can get a lot more dangerous, though. Darn tootin'. This guy must be one of the biggest foes I've ever seen. After getting stamped with a bumper magnet, this mighty opponent hops down off his horse to square off. Watch what happens next.
Why would you do that, sir?
Because you ain't worth a piece of
I am too, sir. Blocked your text, sir. Thankfully, I'm a good dodger. Now, sir, could you just take your cart back? Sir, I'm a cart narc. Agent Cordell.
and I'm a killer.
Well, sir, that's not
I'm
nice.
fixing to put about 6 right in your forehead.
Sir, that's against the law.
I don't give a what you did is harassment.
No, it's not, sir.
Yes, it is.
That cart could harass somebody. Why do you keep approaching me, sir?
Because I'm fixing. Stay away from me.
Sir, that cart,
Away.
will you take your cart back where it belongs, sir? Please.
Go ahead, make my day, punk. Because I don't think any town is big enough for the both of them. Luckily, our trusted narketeer here returned the cart himself and order was restored. When did these lands get so lawless and lazy? I don't care if someone's paid to collect the carts. If you can swag around the store grabbing Totino's pizza rolls, you can take your damn cart back to the cart return. Until then, if there's a score to settle, best believe cart narcs will be close by to keep us safe. Long and winding road. There are few things I like more than a nice stroll through the woods, but for physically handicapped people, forests aren't the most accessible places. Partly because of the irregular undulating roads, and partly because of doo-doo heads like this next lycra-clad miscreant. So the person who captured this video uses a mobility device to get around. He was pootling along a dirt track, minding his own business, when Spandex Karen stepped into his path to complain.
You're not supposed to have e-bikes on this thing.
This is a handicap piece of equipment.
And
And what?
show me the rules saying that you're allowed to do this.
You're serious? Who are
Yeah.
you?
Come on, buddy. You're breaking the rules at the park. You
It's
know
a
the rules.
handicap piece of equipment. I can't walk.
You should have led with that.
Led with that? Oh, I'm sorry. Should our adventurous friend be bound to wheel around with a golf sign saying can't use legs for the rest of his life? No. Now, the cyclist's concerns may well have come from a good place. Motorized vehicles can chew up muddy paths and make them dangerous for everyone. But the second you find out the man is disabled, you'd apologize and tell him to have a nice day, no? Just be a little more understanding next time and don't get so butthurt for being proved wrong. Fitness fools. Who doesn't wish they were doing a little bit better in life? That's why so many people go to the gym. Sadly, some suckers forget gyms are public spaces for everyone and go out of their way to make others uncomfortable. In a video shared on TikTok, one lady claims she caught a man creeping on her as she was doing sets. Check it out.
Or nobody's looking. He has his phone in his hand. And just briefly, after he walks through, you can see that he's going to lift his camera up. He's going to take a quick Snapchat with the with the finger, put it right back down.
Did you see that? Let me play it again.
Snapchat with the with the finger, put it right back down.
Nope, still nothing. Poor guy's just taking a break between sets. Sure, he moves his phone, but that doesn't warrant her baseless accusations of him photographing her or her going on to accuse him of being a predator. Does anyone else see the irony here? She's literally filming the whole gym, so what does that make her? Fortunately, the gym canceled her membership, which should teach her a lesson. But like a fierce multi-headed hydra of victimhood, cutting off one head only spawns another. This lady decided other gym goers weren't good enough targets and mocked the staff instead.
I can't make this up. I can't make this up.
What's your problem here? The cleaner is cleaning? No one frickin' cares about your lunges, lady. This video got a lot of flack online, and I can see why. So much so that the poster came out with a 6.5-minute apology, where she said a lot without saying anything. It was very woe is me. I'm from an immigrant family too. I would never disrespect someone doing a job like this. Lady, you just did. Seriously, when did we all start getting our backs up against the wall when we done goofed instead of just saying sorry? Videos like these have riled online fitness communities, with many calling for a ban on filming in public gyms. I can see why. But what if I told you there's another way? Check this out.
PLV, you tell people when they're in the frame.
Excuse me, do you know how I'm filming this way? Do you mind being in the frame? Cool, yeah? Pardon? Oh no, you can stay! No. By the way, just so you know, I'm filming this way. I don't mind. I'm gonna say, like, do you mind?
Alright. Well, I'm gonna ruin your video.
Oh no, you're not gonna ruin it, it's okay.
Fitness influencer Natalie B. Fitness dares when no one else will. She asks people if they mind her filming. Is she the chosen one? No. No offense, Natalie. It's just not that damn hard to be a decent person. Respect that other people have a right to use the space too, and don't be a turd. Streaming snafu. Ugh, here we go again. Another horrendous IRL streamer coming your way. This time it's Eliza Jordana. She made headlines in April 2024 after a catastrophic livestream went viral online. In the hard-to-watch 2-hour-long video, Eliza discovers that her boyfriend, Bahram Alipur, who goes by Z-Scoro, had been sending large sums of money to another woman. Instead of handling her emotions privately, she goes live threatening to leak his credit card info to all her viewers. It's a bold start, but from here the stream devolves into utter carnage. Eliza then picks up Alipur, drives him around while streaming the whole thing, and calls the lady Alipur supposedly sent money to. Once on the line, she threatens to leak the woman's phone number and intimate photographs to all of her viewers. What a nice person. I can't show you what happens next, but while driving, Eliza gets physical with Alipur, who in return gets physical back, causing Eliza to swerve dangerously across the road. Fortunately, the car stops without crashing, but that's the only fortunate part about this whole affair. Once stopped, the altercation only gets worse until both parties scramble out of the car and outside, where Alipur is alleged to have continued aggressing. It must be one of the most chaotic live streams ever. In the aftermath, it came to light that Alipur and Jordana's relationship was unconventional. It seems more financially transactional than your typical boy meets girl. Look, I'm not digging around in someone else's relationship dynamic. Frankly, they're both toxic and shouldn't be near each other. But the presence of mind to self-record yourself making heinous threats to someone and then endangering other road users with your angry behavior is another level of insanity. Something Eliza realized after being arrested for the altercation and charged with felony battery, for which she received 12 months probation. Let's hope she's learned something here. Trouble in Japan. Traveling is one of life's greatest joys, but you've got to respect the rules and regulations of the place you're going. Aussie TikToker Teron Williams Solis didn't, and he deservedly got a lot of hate for it. While in Japan, he thought it would be funny to enter a women-only carriage on the Japanese metro and declare himself a woman inspector. Tehran proceeded to be disrespectful towards the existence of the carriage, saying it was like being in Saudi Arabia, a country where women don't enjoy many of the freedoms we do in the USA. Except these carriages aren't there to oppress women. If anything, they protect them from creeps like this guy. See, public transport in Japan isn't very safe for women. Men are known to try to take dodgy photographs or physically harass them. That's why the carriage exists. So merely marching on for content shows how little respect Solis has towards the country he's visiting. Just do yourself a favor, bro. Stop. Black to basics. Who here wants to get rich? Luckily, YouTube millionaire Mike Black is here to show us how easy it is. In 2020, he gave up his home, his contacts, and his multi-million-dollar business to start again from scratch. The goal was simple, to prove he could go from $0 to $1 million in 12 months. Mike started the $1 Million Comeback Challenge by flipping free furniture on Craigslist from his phone. After 5 days, he'd made enough money to buy himself a computer. In 2 weeks, he was renting an office space. After 3 months, he transitioned into a social media manager and started a coffee brand. Whoa. Well, dear viewers, after 12 grueling months, Mike Black... What? Huh? You only made $64,000 and quit after 10 months? Okay, hold on. Mike had to quit because his father had fallen sick and Mike himself was struggling with health problems. The bottom line is his well-being was more important than a novelty YouTube challenge. But that being said, his vainglorious attempt to gaslight people into believing anyone can do it and it's just a mindset catastrophically failed. Look, life happens. It's sad, but the Poor People Should Work Harder Brigade never considers that. When the going got tough, Mike abandoned ship, which is a lot easier to do when you've got health insurance and a mansion waiting for you. Anyways, this whole experiment was totally stupid. Mike didn't start from nothing. He had a lot of knowledge from running a successful company. He didn't wipe his memory on day one, and even with his know-how, he barely broke the average American salary. Cringe. Sure, in 10 months it's impressive, but it's majorly short of the lofty $1 million target. That's the thing. Success is like 90% luck. I'm not saying don't work hard, of course, but equating a lack of finances to a lack of effort is so lame. What Mike finds easy or evidently doesn't isn't the same for everyone. Be less toxic, please. Buffalo wildin' out. I'm a nervous flyer. Waiting around in airports makes me twitchy. But I've never lost my mind like Ohioan Jennifer K. Holder. While waiting for her flight out of Atlanta's airport, she treated herself to a delicious, nutritious meal at Buffalo Wild Wings. Trying her luck, Jennifer dined and dashed without paying, but beelined straight for a locked security door. Alarms immediately started blaring, alerting security staff who came running over to confront her. So Jennifer did the only logical thing you can do. Started screaming in their face. Jeez. Now you'd think the gig was up. However, what Jennifer did next was so insane I can't put it into words. Just look. She sprayed airport staff with a fire extinguisher. Damn. I'm not good with spice, but I've never needed fire safety training to chow some wings. Once police officers finally pried the extinguisher out of Jennifer's sauce-covered hand, she was taken to Clayton County Jail to face multiple charges. Because of her ridiculous outburst, 3 flight attendants suffered breathing issues. Luckily, they fully recovered. Just let that be a lesson, kids. If you can't handle the heat, stick to lemon pepper wet. Robin Hood. One of my favorite English heroes is Robin Hood. You know, steal from the rich and give to the poor. Top bloke. But in recent years, his message has been somewhat sullied by a rogue gang acting out of the UK. Over a 4.5-year period, the gang made thousands of false claims for universal credit, a British benefits scheme, scamming the welfare system, and pocketing millions for themselves in the process. By using hijacked identities, the gang falsified payslips, employment letters, and rental agreements to fool and steal money from the government. If any claim got rejected, they'd simply resubmit it until they got the money. In 5 years, the crooks made a staggering £50 million, or around $65 million. Sheesh. Remember, this money is put aside to help the most vulnerable. But in a Robin Hood reverso, these greedy individuals were taking from the poor to make themselves rich. But in 2021, it all came crashing down when police raided 3 factories where the crew were cooking documents. Inside, they found bundles of cash stuffed into suitcases, luxury cars, and designer clothing and watches. The 5 ringleaders who originally hailed from Bulgaria were jailed for between 3 and 8 years. Seems a little lenient to me. Still, they're better behind bars than continuing their devious game. Big Baby. Being a parent is one of the greatest privileges in life, unless you're co-parenting with a literal scumbag. In a viral Reddit post, a concerned wife shared an insane text exchange she'd had with her irate husband. He was threatening to leave because she decided to breastfeed their infant son. Haha, what? Just you wait, it gets so much worse. He goes on to chastise her for not respecting him and stealing joy from him. Joy? What joy? Well, in his insane logic, the husband felt betrayed that his own son was getting some up-close time with one of his favorite private areas. Dude, on behalf of all men, you're seriously unhinged. But he didn't stop there. He went on to accuse his wife of cheating with their son. This guy is crazy. I don't know what the fallout was from this insane interaction, but I hope she and her son are doing okay and are frankly as far away from that insecure little freak as they can get. Peeping Tom. Calling some people in this video the worst might be a little harsh, but that's definitely not the case for Thomas Elliott. I think he's actually the worst. One shopper mooching around Target on Greenville Boulevard, North Colorado, noticed Thomas was acting shadily. She had this strange feeling that he was following her, so she started filming, and it's just as well that she did. A short while later, she spotted Elliott approaching another female shopper, crouching down to look at something. He pulled out his phone, crouched behind her, and slid the phone beneath her, clearly trying to take a picture up her skirt. Look, I'm not showing the actual clip because an innocent lady is targeted, and I don't want my platform to celebrate this kind of gross behavior. She had no idea any of this happened until the lady filming called Elliott out. Now, it goes without saying this is disgusting. The police arrested Elliott, confiscated his electronics, and he was fired from the volunteer position he had at a school. Yuck. How this guy was allowed to work with children shocks me. Look, the less said about this, the better. I sincerely hope that the victim is alright and that Elliott is swiftly dealt with. On that horrifying note, we've reached the end of the video. Which of those corrupt cretins riled you up the most? Let me know down in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching.